Okay, so draft recap, Tennessee Titans. The Titans are interesting, right? Because they were a team that last year they completely screwed up their first round pick. Hard to blame them too much. Isaiah Wilson just seemingly had no interest in ever playing NFL football. So that was unfortunate. But you look at what they did this year, and I think a lot of people thought they might play it safe. They go the complete opposite direction. They start taking bigger swings for the fences, which, you know what? I love, because I love the players that they got, and specifically Caleb Farley with their first round pick. So Farley, pretty much most people agree, is an awesome corner. And what I love about him is, again, he doesn't just have the footwork of some of these guys, but his speed is great, and that's something that really translates well to the NFL level. He is someone I can see being a really good corner. There's a few issues I've talked about before. Can be a little bit more disciplined. He definitely can get beat on double moves, things like that. But as a whole, there's a lot to like about the player. He had a back injury, which resulted in two different surgeries. So that's kind of, it's two surgeries from the same injury, but still, that's concerning. Back injuries are concerning. But let's just be honest. It seems like almost always when there's those injury histories, it tends to work out. Far more often than not, it tends to work out. The issue is just, are you going to risk your first round pick on it? I think with a guy this talented at this point in the first round, yes, to me, I'm willing to do that if I'm the Titans. Love this pick. And in round two, this is kind of a similar thing. You have Dillon Radunz, who, listen, they don't need a left tackle, but they could use a right tackle. So there's intrigue here for me. And I like a lot of what I saw from Dillon Radunz in his tape, and he had a really good Senior Bowl, which is good because that's pretty much the only time that we ever saw him actually play against NFL talent. I think he could be a sleeper in this draft. I really like him a lot. I had him a little bit higher. I had him as an early second round pick just because, again, I get all the concerns. There are some very valid concerns, but there's a lot to like about him. So I'm a fan of this pick as well. And if it doesn't work out, listen, their offense did fine last year when they already swung and missed on Isaiah Wilson. They're taking another swing here because, let's be honest, the way the Titans are at right now, I wouldn't say that they're far away from a Super Bowl, but they kind of need a couple of really good players. So taking guys who could be really good players, I like the move. I like it. Try to be great. Don't try to just be good. Try to make your team awesome. And if these two picks work out, they're going to be awesome. They continue to try to improve their defense in the third round, which makes sense. They get Monty Rice, who, again, I'm surprised Jabril Cox wasn't the guy here. I think getting a coverage linebacker would have made sense, especially when they see a guy like Zach Cunningham. That's kind of who Jabril Cox, I feel, could be, and that's the same division. Good Zach Cunningham, because it goes both ways with Cunningham. Although I think Zach Cunningham was in a bad situation last year in Houston. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about Zach Cunningham. Back to Monty Rice. He's interesting. I know he's a good special teams guy as well, but I doubt that that's playing too much of a role when you're spending the third round pick on him, the 92nd overall. But there's a lot to like. He seemingly is a pretty good coverage linebacker as well. He would typically kind of play man against halfbacks from what I've read against him, so he can do that. He has solid speed at 4.57. That's fine. Nothing special. And, they could use another guy in the room. So, I believe they did not pick up the Rashaan Evans fifth-year option. So maybe that's kind of the hope, is that they can use him as that guy and be a replacement, or maybe not. Who knows? And then for Elijah Molden, that's their other third-round selection. I like him a lot. I think that he's someone who could be a really good. I could see him being a good safety. He's drafted as a corner, but I think he's more of a safety to me. So again, they want another defensive back in the room, but if they got a number one corner in Caleb Farley, and then they got a really good safety in Elijah Molden with this draft class, not to mention potentially a starting right tackle and Monty Rice, who could be a mediocre linebacker who plays good special teams, that's kind of a great first four selections. So looking pretty good here. A couple of interesting picks coming up here with Dez Fitzpatrick, who isn't the fastest guy, but because he's such a good route runner, he actually becomes a legit deep threat because of the way he can sort of move. So, and being 6'2", think of him as kind of a not as good Mike Evans type, which can work really well against zone coverages, which you have to run against a team with Derrick Henry. So I like that pick a lot. They also went out in the fourth round, still in the fourth round, and got Rashad Weaver, who some people were very high on. I was kind of about. I definitely did not have like a first round or second round grade on him like some people did. But in the fourth round, I don't hate this at all. Probably third round would have made a bit more sense. It does seem like the best thing about him is just his length. Like that's kind of the thing. But at the same time, you can't teach length. So there you go. That's some value there. And then you have Racy McMath. Incredible name. Got a great name. You always want to get a good name in the draft. He's someone who he ran a 4.3440 pro day time, but still, so sub 4.5, a little bit probably around 4.4 exactly. And he's 6'2 as well. So to me, that screams out great special teams guy. If you're fast and big, you can be a good gunner. But I also think that I could easily see him kind of being a guy who steps in and can play well in the offense, largely because one of the interesting things is he was kind of just stuck behind Justin Jefferson and Terrence Marshall and Jamar Chase and all those LSU wide receivers. So maybe you can sort of see now that he gets more playing time, maybe it could be better. And again, worst case scenario, you got a guy who should be a good gunner. So I'm a fan of that pick. They also got Brady Breeze, who I don't know why. I just don't know what the logic was with this pick. I'm not sure if he's going to be a special teams guy, but again, 4.52 40. Maybe they just kind of like some of his traits. Maybe they like what he brings, mentally. He's not a really big guy. He's not really fast, not really impressive tape. I'm not exactly sure what they wanted, unless they just thought that he was the best like defensive back left on the board. They wanted another defensive back in the room because my first thought was like, oh, special teams guy, but I'm not sure if he would be a great special teams guy. And it seems like Racy McMath kind of fills that role. So I don't really know. Maybe you guys have a thought on what the reasoning behind that is, because I'm confused. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on those draft picks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm a huge fan of their draft, by the way. Yes, I didn't love one of their 6th round selections. Guess what? I love pretty much every other pick they made. So huge fan of their draft. I think they legit, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they have 4 starters from this draft, 3 of which could be Pro Bowl caliber players. That seems a bit much for Radunz. I'm not sure if he could be Pro Bowl, but I could definitely see Molden being a Pro Bowl caliber player at his peak. Radunz, it's tough to be a Pro Bowler as a tackle. There's a lot of competition there, but he could still be like, listen, a starting tackle, like a mediocre starting tackle, has a ton of value. You'll pay that guy double-digit millions of dollars. And Caleb Farley, I mean, he has all pro potential. So huge fan of this draft. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.